What's up, everybody? It would not be an RTA season unless there was an RTA tier list, and this one's very exciting. It's potentially exciting because it's made by a total of 3 people, a combined effort between 3 people, not just 3 people, not just 3 random people, but ranks 2, 3, and 5 on the ladder, on the leaderboards, right? So who better to give input than 3 of the top 5 ranked players right now? So let's see what they think about these different units' viability in RTA, and because I feel, you know what, and I gotta say, like, I'm nowhere near their level of play, because they just play every day so much, even not ranked, even like just to test things out, they're just like always playing, always playing, always playing. Like, I play every so often, but I am not at that level of commitment of like basically married to RTA. I don't know if I ever will be at that level of commitment. I'm sorry, RTA. It's not gonna work out. But I still feel like some of these are like weird, and I have my reasons for why I think some things are in weird places. But let's start, of course, at the bottom, which nobody even cares about, and you're just gonna timestamp and skip to skip further up. See, here's one thing. Like Clara. Nobody, well, you guys can't even see where my thing is, but I guess it goes by, I don't know why they're doing these points. I think Fouad did a system. Yeah, oh, Ragdoll at the top. Oh, surprise, surprise. I think Fouad did a system like this, the like efficiency points or something like that. I'm sure someone in the comments will explain the point system. But I know they're not the only one that's done the point system, and I'm not sure if this is supposed to be indicative of like the levels that you can see these at, like the ones on the side. Because I did kind of like, I was working on a tier list, and not for RTA though, and it was using these, but these little ranks on the side, but it didn't necessarily indicate that those were the units that you see at those levels. It was just like about the overall value of the units. Instead of being like C, B, A, S, double S, triple S, I just put the little rank logos on the side. It's not necessarily indicative of that's the rank that you see these at. But anyway, because I'm going to zoom in now. Oh, I zoomed in too much. So we can see a little bit more in depth. Clara is kind of basically she extends times of buffs randomly with the 3rd skill. Who cares? No one uses her. Poseidon, I feel like Poseidon is actually not that bad in RTA. Like, I really feel like, I mean, you see him in some cleave comps. I really feel like he's viable. Alicia, same thing. Tay, same thing. I feel like Poseidon's actually more viable than Tay, but who cares? We're not even really... Chloe, Shiwa. Why is Shiwa? I don't even understand why Shiwa's on here. But okay, Shiwa. I've used Soha and stuff like that before, so Punkback is basically not great in RTA. Like, a lot of these things are not great. I would have to... Chasun is not really that great. I'm sorry, guys, but Chasun is not really that great in RTA. She's a stall unit. It's basically what she's there for. Sometimes she goes crazy, and she can turn around battles, but she's a stall unit. She's really, like, as long as you have her CC'd, there's nothing you could do with... She just doesn't bring enough to the table aside from stalls and heals and stalls. And in RTA, that's not enough to be viable. Aquila, AoE stripper, nothing really too crazy. I'm going on to the wind. I know you guys can't see my mouse cursor, but I'm on the wind, basically nothing tier. But it's nothing tier, so why are we even talking about it? Beth, I feel like, is an underrated RTA unit. Leader skill, HP, not anything special, right? But destroy HP, destroy enemy max HP. And I just feel like Beth is underrated. I feel like Beth is underrated. And Eladriel, I don't love Eladriel in RTA, but I've seen some Villapity, who was in the Europe qualifiers. G3 player, he was using Eladriel some. It was actually effective. He was actually using it he was using it effectively. So it can be used effectively. I don't know if he's really that low on the tier list, but I've seen him being used effectively. I'm just surprised that like things like the water puppy dog. I know you guys can't see the tier list, but the water puppy dog's around the silver level on here. The water Anubis, and he seems like, I mean, he's got his usefulness, but I don't know. And that's also Chow. I don't know if I would necessarily feel like those are the greatest. You know what I mean? Anyway, I just feel like some things are in weird. And Charlotte, I mean, I've seen people use Charlotte very effectively. One of them being Foi. So it's just kind of interesting to see that Charlotte, she's got AoE stun with the second skill. She's got AoE attack each reduction with the third skill. I just feel like she's a little low on that tier list. Like Pungback is legitimately should be that low, but Charlotte's got 2 CCs, and the first skills can cycle her other skills too when she procs. So they might be considering her weaker, but she's not as bad as Jasoon. She's definitely better than Jasoon, in my opinion. Just because of all the CC. CC is king in RTA still. Well, turn cycling is king in RTA this season. But CC is amazing. Then we see these pioneers. I've seen them used effectively. See a lot of the Molly really doesn't do too much in RTA this season. I'm surprised the Dark Sylph is so low, and also the Veramos. Veramos being that low when we saw him in the finals last year, it just seems silly. It seems. I know, and here's the reason. Here's the reason that Veramos is that low is because Vertiheel is the new Veramos, right? Between Vertiheel and between Tetra the Water Mermaid, those are just better versions of what he was doing. They're just doing now, and. The Water Mermaid removes harmful effects, right? So she is closer to what he does, but I know everyone's like, we don't care about the Veramos and the Water Mermaid, but it was a counter to Jean. But now it's just using Vertiheel to cycle so many turns that Jean's AoE provoke doesn't really matter, and Fran. So those are the big things this season. What else? This Dark Desert Queen, I really feel like the Dark Desert Queen is not that bad. Speed lead, multiple debuffs. I have her on my Light Dark account. I think she's viable. And the Dark Sylph, 2-turn sleep, 2-turn AoE sleep. If you're valuing Hathor, and I know Hathor is like super high. Hathor is at the very top. It seems very silly that the Dark Sylph, and I know these are players that are just like much better than me. But it just seems like the Dark Sylph should be significantly higher based on how close he is in skill set to the unit that's at the very top of the tier list. You know what I mean? So anyway, a lot of stuff that I feel is for these light dark 5s around the 30 mark. We see this. Oh, you guys can't even see the 30 mark. There you go. Around the 30 mark, we see this this Dark Pony, though. Dark Pony's more viable than Han. I have them both. I've used them both. It's a definite... I mean, Han is basically like an element-neutral damage dealer. He's not... And he's got a speed lead, which is great if you have a unit to combo with that. But if you don't have a unit to combo with that, then it really doesn't do too much. I'm just surprised to see some of these, having used both of them, I can say I'm not bringing both of these into anything anytime soon. But like Han, I guess they're just valuing Han higher because he's triple hit, damage dealer, element neutral, and he's got good base stats. I know I feel like the Koreans value him more than global server does, because I know Beat D had him decently high in the tier list too back in the day. Anyway, let's go on to these other fire units. Onto the bronze tier. We're all messing around with different levels, but you know how I roll. Meruna, is that her name? The fire boomerang? I never see her. Well, I know like 2 people that use Meruna. They just use like all the twins, and it doesn't even. They just crap out the twins. Their whole strategy is, I have the twins. They're fast enough. They have amazing runes, and I'm just gonna stick the twins in, and they play around like C2, C3 level. And it's just like it's just twins. It's just twins, and basically that's it. That's the whole strategy. There's not a strategy, and they're just so good that it works. But anyway, that's what it is. Fire Dice Magician. We see some. We were seeing him for a while in some Guild Wars. I don't know how many people actually still use him in Guild Wars, but we were seeing him for a while in Guild War and Guild Siege. I lost one in Guild Siege. Just the stupid amounts of procs by him, and it was him, Iona, and Feng Yan. It was good player, but I was like, this is ridiculous. It's just the insanity of that team at its max capacity is too ridiculous. Sonnet, AoE sleep. See, the thing with the Sonnet though, Sonnet's got AoE sleep as well, but she's still so far above the Dark Sylph. I don't understand why she's so far. Water Boomerang. It's just funny to see the boomerangs on here, because those are, I mean, like, these are all different teams that we're looking into. Like, all these units are good in different teams. You can't just take, like, the Water Boomerang and stick her into a team with other stuff and be like, oh, she's going to be super effective. Like, no, you have to be in a fast DPS team to use that. So, you're really going for some quick kills when using her, because, I mean, she's just weak to so many different things. She can be CC'd easily. You don't even need to CC her. You just on her and she dies. Camilla's kind of a counter for certain things. Camilla's really doesn't do too much. Really not the greatest choice for RTA. Is just like a, oh, this is what the enemy's picking. It's trying to cleave me. Okay, I'll stick Camilla in there, and whatever happens, happens. What else? Theomar's just dumb damage. But I feel like Theomar's is even better than Han. I feel like Theomar's better than Han, because Theomar's can not get, first off, not get one shot. Second off, element neutral as well. But defense break. That's why. Defense break. But they're very similar. Element neutral, just damage, and that's about it. I never see anyone use this this water Anubis though. I'm on to like the, I was looking at him. He's at the fighter, by the fighter rank logo. I really don't ever see him being used too much. But I see some of these like these wind ones. I see some of these wind ones used. The Cichlid. She's effective. Like, it's just her base speed is so low. That's one of the things. Anyway, we don't care about these. We want the sexy units. We want the sexy monsters. Draco making a play. Draco's a little bit more appreciated this season. Ophelia was getting a lot of love last season. I guess she's not loved too much anymore. See, a lot of the stuff for the fire units are the same. A lot of stuff for the fire units are the same, except for the ones on the top. Vertiheel is now he was like 3 ranks below. Now he's just, this season he's the best unit in the entire game, and he really has not changed that much. He changed, so his second skill is a multi-hit. That's the entire Vertiheel change. That's the whole thing, and he's top tier now. Top tier. But he's top tier. It's because the whole Fran Hathor Vertiheel thing from the first week of the season is that I think it was Sai that was using it. Was just so effective that everyone started doing copying that and imitating what he was doing, and then that's how that became the meta. Everyone just imitates the person that's at the top of the leaderboards because they're like, oh, he's doing very well. I want to do very well. Let me imitate what he's doing. Let me get some wins. Because he's clearly thought it out. Water Monkey. Oh my god, this Water Monkey is now stronger than Molong, stronger than... Oh, damn you, Water Monkey. Damn you, Water Monkey. Ajir, legit too. Ajir, legit too. Samoth, pretty high. I always liked Samoth. I always felt like he didn't get enough credit in these tier lists. He usually ranks a little bit lower than other things, but... I'm glad he's finally getting some more love. Ajir is amazing. Ajir's won me battles that I shouldn't have won. I don't want to admit to that on video, but yeah, won me battles I shouldn't have won. I'm glad Tiana's getting some love this season. Well, not this season. I'm glad she's getting some love in this tier list, because I always feel like people put her too low in the tier list. They're like, she doesn't do anything. Like, she doesn't, but she doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. But this still first turn strip, attack gauge increase, crit damage Tiana also. I feel like they're valuing that crit damage Tiana. I feel like that's what would be that high on the tier list. Jameer finally gets some love. Odin, people are finally starting to realize that Odin is a very viable unit. But that fire one, man, fire one. Where's the fire one on the tier list? Where's the Belager? We're missing out, man. Yeah, Feng Yan, we've seen him many times. Triana we've seen, Ethna, all this stuff is has been on these tier lists, though. Nothing new. Fran, now almost at the very, very top with Arnamel and Yenhong. Yenhong apparently did not really change too much. They added one skill cooldown to her, but people still valuing her apparently just as much as last season. So, but Fran, I feel like I felt like Fran was amazing before. When Fran was Secret Dungeon, when they buffed Fran, they gave everyone the Fran Secret Dungeon. I was like, wow, this girl is OP. And I'm sure some people were like, dude, you're clickbaiting. She's that 3-star. Calm down, dude. Attack, but she's like Bastet and Wusa in the same one. She's immunity, she's attack buff, and then she also cleanses, and she also stuns. For this, just her skill set is just ridiculous for a light dark 3-star that the devs give to you. They gave us all one of the top tier RTA units in the game. No excuses, guys. They gave everyone one of the top tier Vertiheal as well. Do you have Fran? Do you have Vertiheal? Well, you have 2 out of 5 of the picks that you need. Pick 3 more good ones, and then you're set for RTA, right? No excuses. Do you have runes? Well, farm runes. That's all you need. All these light dark nat 5s, not as strong as those units. What else is good? Let's see what else we can find on the tier list that's potentially farmable fusible. Well, Perna's not farmable fusible. Tessarion, Rakuni, there we go. I wonder how far you could get with Fran, Vertiheal, Tessarion, Rakuni, and Ajir. Sounds like a Jubago video. Sounds like it. And Gemini. Gemini's always been pretty good, though. Excuse me. I'm surprised the Chroma's that high. And that Light Horus. Fwa loves the Light Horus, too. When the Light Horus got buffed, Fwa was like, oh my god, he's amazing. Every time something light gets buffed, every time a light nat 5 gets buffed, Fwa sticks it at like the top of, he's like, what tier list am I working on? Right there, 5S tier. Light Monkey's great. I feel like Light Monkey was still good last season. But I kind of agree with this, where he is on this tier list. And I really like the fact that Odin's getting some love here. I really do. Odin's the Wind Lightning Emperor. But I feel like a Chroma's too high. I just feel like a Chroma's too high. I mean, I know a Chroma's a counter, but so is Camilla, right? A Chroma's the counter to CC. Camilla's the counter to, and can't be Oblivioned. Camilla's kind of counter to Cleave. So it's just, you don't take a Chroma into everything. That's the thing. I just feel like a Chroma's a little bit high on that list. Oberon because of the one-shot potential, Julianne because of the one-shot potential, the Light Polar Queen because she does that crazy, between her and Ganymede, like some people have insane teams, and this is one of the things, Barion's kind of popularized these teams where it's just massive amounts of turns. Well, I mean, Vertiheal is a massive amount of turn cycling team as well, but Barion loves to do the turn cycling combos, where like the enemies, he gets like 30 turns before the enemy gets a turn, and he like chips away, he does like these little tiny like niblets of damage, and then eventually the enemy just dies, or they like fall asleep because they're waiting to get their turn, but Barion's taken 400 turns in the meantime, doing like with like 300 speed violent runes, and just not a whole ton of damage. Some of them do decent damage sometimes, but things like Tableau, things like Jameer, what else does he do? Tableau, Jameer, Yenhong, stuff like that, Ganymede. So that's another thing. That's a reason Tableau is up that high as well. But yeah, but those teams, that's why the Light Polar Queen is just amazing combination with Ganymede. Like potentially something that you have to like ban. You have to be like, oh, I can't have that. That's too much turn cycling. That's just too ridiculous of a combo. The Lydia I feel is high. Does anyone else feel that the Lydia is high? Maybe the Dark OG is a little bit high too. Like I understand, of course, Gianna Ragdoll, no one's contesting that. No one's contesting Ganymede Hathor. None of that ever gets contested because it's just everyone feels that it's the best. Like the top tier of the tier lists are just the best. Everyone across the board agrees. I mean, the Fran and Vertigo lulls this season. Vanessa, I feel, is high too. I really feel like Vanessa is high. I don't love Vanessa as much as everyone else does, but I know Vanessa's a big high-level pick, right? You can't argue the fact that a lot of people are using Vanessa. A lot of people are using Vanessa. Vanessa's a first pick contest for G3. She's one of the more viable first pick units, but I always feel like I'm like, do I have to pick Vanessa? Ugh. Fine, I will pick Vanessa. I always pick Vanessa very reluctantly. Same thing with Triana. I always pick it really reluctantly, except for on my Europe account because I don't have anything else. But I feel like the Lydia is a little bit high. I do feel like the Lydia is a little bit high. And I feel like the Dark OG, I like the Dark OG. I feel like some people don't appreciate her as much as they could. But is she like the 5th best light dark unit? Like, not light dark unit, dark unit? I don't know, man. Some of these units are pretty crazy. And the Dark Panda apparently is not as high on the tier list as we were hoping he would be, or we thought he would be. Also, this Trinity. Okay, the Trinity and the Han at the same level, really? Trinity and Han, same level, 33 speed lead overall for everyone, and AoE damage. And then Han is just like, yeah, you know what? I got a 30% speed lead, but only for dark units. So you better bring a dark team. I don't, like... Although he is, to be honest, Han is not that high on the tier list, but just using Han and using Alexandra. Alexandra is actually more useful in more situations. I know Han is there because of the DPS though, the just burst damage, and Zeratu is better for that burst damage because attack buff and immunity. You need less support for it. But yeah, interesting tier list. Of course, I think Also, I keep seeing weird things out of the blue. Like, Jean definitely fell off this season. Definitely fell off this season. I'm surprised she's that low. I still think that Jean needs to be higher, because right now she's at like the gold, like the Conqueror star level. If you see, she's next to Volantis, which I also think Volantis is a great unit. I got him on Europe. I was lucky enough to get him on Europe. Very solid. I feel like some of these druids might get an activation rate buff, because we've seen in many patches before. By the way, guys, next patch should be between seasons. Should be after this season ends, so keep that in mind. Some people have asked me about the next balance patch. That's when it is tentatively going to be. So keep that in the back of your noggin. That Isis, I feel like, is low. I don't know, man. I don't know. She's so good. I just feel like she's so good. I see her anytime I see someone using her, unless they're like have terrible runes. But anytime I see someone like that is decent runes using her and they've done RTA enough to know what they're doing, like they just smoke everything with this girl. And I feel like she's really solid. I feel like she's maybe underappreciated. I definitely feel like she's underappreciated. I definitely feel like that. I feel like the Achroma and Gemini are a little bit too high though. Gemini's good, but just compared to other stuff like Isis, man. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on it. Also, this Eludia. This Eludia is pretty low. You see Eludia down here, beyond even the star levels, like below all of that. I've seen Make It a Bud use Eludia in the top 100 and actually win with her. So I feel like maybe that's justification. Also, I've seen a few people use some of these worst tier units. And Veramos, we saw him in the last championships, right? So I feel like maybe they aren't as bad as this tier list would have them believe. But I just feel like some of those are a little bit more valuable. Charlotte, Eludia, Dark Sylph, Nepthys a little bit. She's not super crazy, you know, amazing, but more valuable than that. Charlotte. And why is she on this damn list? Oh my god. I mean, if you put Shiwa on the list, you may as well put like everything else on the list. You may as well put like Orang on the list. You may as well put like, let's see. What else? What else should we put on the Light Succubus? Light Succubus is more useful than Shiwa, I feel. Why is she not there, right? Light Succubus not that bad. She was actually, people were using her the first season. It was a long time ago, but people were using her the first season. Lots of CC, man. Lots of CC. Anyway, guys, Light Succubus. Light Succubus meta. That's next season. It's next season, don't worry. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Again, thanks to Skit, Tree, and Freedom. I believe those are their names. From Korea server for the tier list. I think overall it's a good tier list. I just, for some of them, I'm like, what the hell? It's like, it seems like it should be higher or lower than what it is. So, but I'm sure they have their reasons for where these things are. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are on the tier list in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Should I have gone over all the things even more? I mean, I always can. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. I will see you as always in the next one.